Well, the Tassie trip's over, and what's a travel video without your cats inspecting your baggage before you leave? This is Ted. And this is Ellie. Say hello, Ellie. It's about a 3.5 hour flight from Brisbane down to Tassie if you go direct. Unfortunately, if you want to go direct, you pretty much only got Jetstar, which is the budget arm of Qantas. We prefer to go business class, so with a flight down to a flight down to Melbourne, and then a flight Melbourne to Hobart. I'll shut up now for the people that like to listen to the sound of aircraft. And if you don't like the sound of aircraft, I've got some music for you at the end of this. Melbourne International Airport at Tullamarine. I actually used to work here about 13 years ago, but this is the first time I've ever actually been to the terminal, to that side of the airport. The Qantas Lounge at Melbourne Airport. We're waiting for our flight down to Hobart.
Qantas Flight 1266 to Brisbane, now boarding gate 22.
Sorry for the colouring on this, but the tinting on the windows in the lounge at the airport it really messes up your colour balance. Oh, another reason for the non-direct flights, I really wanted to fly in one of the new Qantas A220s. You might be wondering why there's two control towers at Melbourne Airport. Well, the little white one on your left is the old one. The one just behind it, or to your right, is that opened about 12 years ago, 13 years ago. It was being built when I worked here. I was training to be an air traffic controller, and just in front of those buildings, there's a 2-storey building you can see. That's the Air Services Academy where they train the controllers for Australia. I didn't actually make the cut with the training, which is why I didn't end up actually working in the tower. I can't say we were expecting this kind of view. I knew we were near the water. Check this out.
Oh, wow.
Here's a quick tip. If you want to find somewhere with a different view to where your hotel room is, just ask them in reception where you can go for a cigarette, even if you don't smoke. We wouldn't have known this spot if Donna hadn't asked in reception. So I'm sitting here opposite Salamanca Wharf, or where the markets usually are, waiting for it to be quiet, so I'm not talking in front of people. I'm sweating like a pig. You'll notice some of this footage is a bit overexposed. That was user error with the new Osmo Pocket 3. This is actually Constitution Dock. If you're familiar with the Sydney Hobart yacht race, the end of December every year, this place will be absolutely full of racing yachts. And if you like seafood, it's a great place to go for lunch or dinner, even breakfast. As you'd expect, there's quite a big tourism industry in Hobart. From joy flights like in this Cessna Caravan, your normal day trips on boats, to ferries out to Mona. Mona is the Museum of Old and New Art. Apparently they have a vagina on the wall. I'm not sure about that. Of course, if you want, you can just sit in your hotel room and enjoy the view. Those statues you can see are the Bonacci Monument to commemorate Louis Bonacci, who was a Antarctic explorer from Tasmania. There's a separate installation, as you can see here, of penguins, and then, as you'll see in a moment, seals. And as you've probably already seen, there's lots of fishing boats based in Hobart as well. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right, won't use the sound anyway. I thought that boat was going to come in here. We've got a bit of time to kill. It's about a half-hour drive from Hobart down to Kettering, where we're staying the next couple of nights. And so we can't get in there till for another half hour, 2 o'clock. On the bright side, it's a really nice view by the looks of it across to Bruny Island, which I'll tell you a bit more about that later on. It's a good place to be able to talk to the camera and not feel embarrassed, because there's nobody else around. It's quite a nice spot here actually for a picnic, or if you're a smoker, or a cigarette. I'm not a smoker, by the way. The plovers and the crows seem to like it a lot, as you can hear in the background. And I'll show you Bruny Island. Another thing we've noticed, every time you stop somewhere for food, because we're so close to the water, the gulls all hang around. I'm not sure what type they are down here. They get mainly into silver gulls at home. I think they're Pacific gulls down here, or something else. I did a bit of an oopsie. When I booked the accommodation for this trip originally, I went via the Qantas website for the points, and I searched for Bruny Island. Bruny Island's over there. I didn't realise Kettering wasn't on Bruny Island. So we're sitting next to the main road. we do have a good view of Bruny Island, and the ferry is right down there. And it seems like a nice place, but it would have been nicer to have been spending the next 2 nights actually on the island. So if you're booking accommodation through the Qantas website, make sure you know exactly where you're staying. It's a bit cold down here too. Let's do a quick tour before we mess it up. You can do what you want. The size of that shower. Got a good quality bog roll. I like this image. It's not perfect from a landscape point of view, but this New Holland Honeyeater took off at just the right time. Now I've got my breath back. This is Cape Bruny Lighthouse. It's a very steep climb up that hill. I've actually been here before, and this time I figured, I got halfway up now, too bloody tired, and I thought, nah, gotta do it. So here I am. Now I've got to walk back down. See you down the bottom. Piece of advice: if you go to Cape Bruny, don't sit or lie on the grass. The wombats and wallabies have been here before you. Yes, that is poo. Downside of going to Cape Bruny Lighthouse, 18 kilometres of dirt road.
Bitumen again.
That dirt road's actually not too bad, especially when you consider it's over an hour's drive from the ferry to Cape Bruni. 18 kilometres of decent dirt road. It's not too bad, and it's scenic, especially if, like me, you're sitting on the left-hand side for this part of the trip. I'll add the tyre screeching sound effects in later. There are 3 places you should really visit on Bruny Island. The Bruny Island Hotel, which I forgot to photograph, the Cape Bruni, and this place, the Bruny Island Cheese Company. They also do beer. And if you can't visit the cheese company, they actually sell their produce online.
Tassie reminds me of my friend.
Well, this is nice. We're just outside of Bicheno at Sandpiper Ocean Cottages, just over there. And let's just turn you around. Actually, there we go. Nice and close to the beach. This looks like it's going to be a nice place, possibly for some sunrise pictures tomorrow morning. Let's get the sun out of your face. Oh wow. You can just about see the water from the cottage. I'll show you that when I get back up there, which is probably a good thing and a bad thing. Bad thing is you can't see the water that well. Good thing, if the weather comes up, you're still pretty well protected. I'll show you a bit of the walk back up to the cottage. You wouldn't want to be coming through here in the dark, I don't think. Looks like there's quite a bit of wildlife around here too. I can hear the birds, I can see the poo near the cottage. Get my step count up. Skid, skid. This place we're staying at too has a welcome hamper, and our experience of that There's usually eggs, bacon, some nice homemade bread. Be interesting to see what ours is. Oh shit, left or right? If you're as old as me, you'll know who this is. There we go. Shane Gould was from Bicheno. And their accommodation for the next two nights. As far as location is concerned, this is probably one of the best places we stayed. It was quiet, fairly secluded, and it was the only place in Tassie that I actually got to fly my drone. It's a nice view from up here, but these steps are a little bit steep, which is why Donna's not here. There's a lot of these totems all around the property here. There's one right near our cabin of Shane Gould, which I think I videoed the other day. And right here we have Errol. Hello Errol. Errol Flynn.
Yeah, mate.
Almost forgot. Here's the view from our cabin. Oh, and I didn't get around to that sunrise picture on the beach. I got a bit too wrapped up with some of the little detail, the close-up stuff on the beach. So here's a bit of a selection of them. Oh, and I did get around to doing a sunrise. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.